We are welcome back to the grand halls of the Roundtable hold. Finnick walks around as he looks at the grand artworks on the walls, the many different rooms, all the different tarnished. He's an outsider, but also family. It's a strange feeling that he can't place, but nevertheless he does feel safe. There's an almost guilty feeling that he couldn't bring Atlas here with him. He knows he would have loved to see this all as well. There are many others who look at Finnick with criticizing eyes. It starts to get awkward after a while, and Finnick wants to turn to Melina to help guide him, only to see how she has vanished again. He's there completely on his own. He keeps walking around, and eventually reaches a huge round table in which dozens of swords are pierced. A bright light of grace shines above it, marking it as something divine, almost holy or sacred. Finnick stares at it for a long time. It's beautiful. He places his hand on the table, taking it all in, which is when he's approached by a handful of tarnished. They ask him who he is, where he came from. Finnick answers honestly, he was taken here by a maiden. His maiden. He wants to help his kind in order to find the lost throne of these lands. The tarnished chuckle. It's clear how Finnick is new here. Searching for the throne. Well, come join the club then. Everyone here is promised the same thing, as if they're all going to share it. It's made very clear that not all of the faces Finnick is going to meet here are as friendly as he had hoped. After receiving rather condescending remarks from some of them, he backs away, only for him to bump into a giant of a man. A brute. This man towers above Finnick and breathes loudly in his face. Finnick is like an ant in front of him, completely overshadowed. Finnick, completely taken aback by his sudden presence, only gasps a bit, almost looking like a child, which causes the other tarnished to burst out laughing. Finnick soon heads into one of the hallways to calm down. These people are not the heroes he hoped he would meet. Which is when he's approached by someone else. A sorcerer, who introduces himself as Roger. The man, as complete opposite, acts very friendly towards the knight. He tells him not to mind those other fools. This place is filled with tarnished and guides, noble and less noble alike. Finnick is glad to see a friendly face to greet him. He's also happy to see how a sorcerer has found his way to safety after having lost his own sorcerer friend. Roger sees the hurt in Finnick's eyes. He can see how he's still brand new to these lands after its resurrection. Yet the lands between have already taken their toll, it seems. How many came with him? Finnick is honest. There were with 6. And only he survived. After they tried to... Roger is the one who finishes the sentence. Attack Stormveil. The task not a single tarnished has ever survived. Well, join the Brotherhood of Failures, brother. Luckily, their strength in numbers grows every day. Finnick is glad to hear that. He wants nothing more than to attack the castle head-on and defeat that foul creature Margit. Roger smiles, but stays silent for now. He eventually tells the man to follow him. The two walk back to the round table room as they proceed into another hall. Before heading there, Finnick spots an open door, in which a giant statue of 2 massive fingers appears to be standing. Partially creeped out, he asks Roger about it. The sorcerer claims it's nothing to worry about. Those are the 2 fingers, guides to the tarnished. Finnick, once again, is confused. He thought their maidens were their guides. Roger agrees. Maidens guide them on their personal journey, turning the runes they receive from defeating enemies into strength. But the 2 fingers are something different. They are a vessel to communicate with powers greater than theirs. Finnick suddenly remembers it now from the story of Godfrey. He even says it out loud. They communicate with the greater will. They're God. Rogier nods, saying it's clear how Finnick has been informed properly, but he's about to be informed even more. Upon reaching a closed door in one of the hallways, they are greeted by a bodyguard of sorts. A rather disturbing looking man, dressed completely in black, wearing a mask that resembles a skull. He doesn't say a word, he just looks at them, quietly, observing. Rogier calls the man by the name of Ensha, telling him Finnick is a newcomer, wishes to speak to the All-Knowing. Finnick doesn't know what to think, but lets Rogier do the most of the talking here. Eventually, Ensha simply steps aside and opens the door for the two of them. Inside, we are revealed to a whole room filled with desks and books. It's an entire library crammed into a single study, it seems. A fireplace is burning, and behind a huge desk with multiple books and scrolls, we are introduced to another knight. Gideon Ofnir, the All-Knowing, leader of the Roundtable hold. Finnick is very impressed, as Gideon looks like a very mysterious yet also intimidating man, also wearing a mask and carrying a staff of sorts. Gideon makes it clear his time is precious and wishes not to be disturbed by small conveniences such as the arrival of a newcomer. They have dozens of newcomers every week. Rogier takes a step back and looks at Finnick. It's clear this is the man's moment to prove himself and convince the leader he's worthy of staying here and joining their ranks. Finnick tells the man his story. How his friends and him arrived at the shores of Limgrave, the battles they fought, how he lost all of them, the maiden he found in the woods. Gideon, however, isn't impressed. He listens closely, sure enough, but he looks greatly apathetic. He eventually stops the man from talking further. He knows the peril and dangers he has overcome, and he understands the loss. But there is one incredibly important thing he must realize. He is not special. Gideon knows it's a hard insult for anyone, but it's the truth. Hundreds, maybe even thousands of Tarnished have come before Finnick, all believing they were the one to bring change. They all died or deserted, or worse. He understands Finnick has suffered losses and he's sorry for that, but he's not winning any tournaments with the story he has heard. Finnick, however, does feel insulted. How can he be more of a warrior than he is right now? Has Gideon seen what is out there? The tree sentinels, the goblins, the wolves in the woods. Gideon immediately counters. Ensha, his personal bodyguard, has killed 2 tree sentinels. That silences Finnick. How? Gideon continues, however. The giant brute out there in the hallways? Well, he has killed one of the giant rune bears from the Limgrave woods before coming here. Other very experienced Tarnished in these hallways, such as D or Dialos, all of them have managed to defeat the threats that roam the land of Limgrave. Even Rogier, right here, managed to defeat the Erdtree Burial Watchdog all by himself. This entire monologue silences Finnick and makes him look like a fool. Worse even. A failure. He's completely quiet. Rogier stands quietly in the corner, but clearly feels sorry for him, yet he doesn't speak up. No one speaks up when Gideon Ofnir is talking. That's made very obvious. Gideon eventually walks up to Finnick and looks at him from head to toe. He understands this must all come across as belittling and insulting. But Finnick mustn't take it that way. He's simply stating facts. And as of right now, Finnick has no place there, apart from the maiden who brought him. It's silent for a long time. But eventually Finnick states he and his friends made it all the way to Stormveil Castle. How could that have all been for nothing? They even try to attack Stormveil Castle. That makes Gideon chuckle. Congratulations. Then he's not only unworthy, but he's also a fool. But then, Finnick says something that silences the great leader of the Roundtable Hold. Yes, he went to Stormveil and survived. This indeed causes for absolute silence. Gideon turns around and stares at Finnick for a long time. Rogier has a little smile appearing on his face. Gideon again scans Finnick from head to toe. He survived Stormveil Castle? Survived Margit. Finnick nods. That monster killed his friends. If he isn't worthy to become a member of this place, or even Elden Lord for all that matters, then at least let him have his revenge by slaying that beast. It's quiet for a long time, until Gideon tells Rogier to leave them alone, which the sorcerer does. Gideon invites Finnick to join him by the hearth, which he also does. He asks him if he knows why he must be so hard on newcomers. He has seen thousands come and go, just like him. Many of them with great promise, even greater than Finnick, but he can't deny the fact that any soldier to survive Margit has some great power inside of them. They have a long and deep talk, until eventually Gideon proposes Finnick can join the ranks of Tarnished of the Roundtable. Yet it will come with many challenges. As they speak, Gideon has prepared a series of tests for all the newcomers of the last months, to see which of them is worthy to join the ranks of his most prestigious warriors, such as Ensha and Rogier. Finnick nods and understands. It's also revealed how Gideon's main objective is to assemble an army of the most perfect warriors to attack Stormveil Castle. Take it, claim it, and kill its lords. This is music to Finnick's eyes. He's all too happy to hear that. He promises Gideon he won't disappoint him. He will show him he's worthy, and then together they will kill Margit. Gideon, however, looks at him now in a confusing way. Wait, does he think Margit is the lord of Stormveil Castle? Finnick nods. Who else would it be? Gideon shakes his head. Margit, as terrible and vicious as he may be, is but a stray dog, roaming around that place. But its lord, its real leader, is something else entirely. A horror, a monster, a devourer of corpses and flesh. Margit may be a relentless beast, but the castle's master is the devil. Finnick looks in horror, unable to comprehend what may await them inside those walls. He does ask Gideon one thing. What is the name of the castle's lord then? And Gideon answers grimly. Godric. Godric the Grafted. The last thing we see is an image of pure horror. We see the dark silhouette of Stormveil Castle, and deep inside it, we see dozens of dark sorcerers and doctors ripping off limbs and flesh of the bodies from all the fallen Tarnished who try to attack the castle. They tear off arms, legs, muscles, bones, everything useful, and bring it to a large dark room where we see the silhouette of a monstrous figure sitting in the corner as multiple doctors are giving it some sort of treatment with blood magic. They're attaching the limbs to its body. None of it is shown in detail, but we see glimpses, flashes, shadows, the disgusting sounds of the limbs being detached and attached to its new body. And just enough we'll leave most of it to our own horrifying imagination. This is the Lords of Stormveil Castle. Godric the Crafted.